Number 1. Robin Williams. The final hours of Robin Williams' life. Robin McLaurin Williams was an American actor and comedian, born on Saturday, July 21, 1951, in Chicago, Illinois, a great-great-grandson of Mississippi Governor and Senator Anselm J. McLaurin. His mother, Laurie McLaurin nee Youngin, was a former model from Mississippi, and his father, Robert Fitzgerald Williams, was a Ford Motor Company executive from Indiana. Williams had English, German, French, Welsh, Irish, and Scottish ancestry. Robin briefly studied political science at Claremont Men's College and theatre at College of Marin before enrolling at the Juilliard School to focus on theatre. After leaving Juilliard, he performed in nightclubs, where he was discovered for the role of Mork from Ork in an episode of Happy Days 1974. Williams established a career in both stand-up comedy and feature film acting. He was known for his improvisation skills and the wide variety of memorable character voices he created. Many critics have lauded Williams as one of the funniest comedians of all time. On Monday, August 11, 2014, Robin Williams was found dead by his personal assistant at 11:45 a.m. in his home in Paradise Cay, California. At that point, his wife Susan Schneider had left the house, thinking that her husband was asleep. Susan had been planning to wait for Robin to wake up so that she could meditate with him. But when he wasn't awake by 10:30 a.m., she left the house to run some errands. But Robin's longtime assistant Rebecca Owen Spencer decided to pick the lock on the door. Rebecca used a paper clip to force open the lock to the bedroom door. She entered the room and made a horrifying discovery. Robin had hanged himself with a belt and was dead. The actor was discovered in a seated position on the floor with a belt around his neck. Police later noticed superficial cuts on his left wrist. It was soon confirmed that Robin Williams died by suicide at the age of 63. An autopsy later confirmed that Robin Williams' cause of death was suicide by asphyxia due to hanging. Robin Williams' suicide was devastating to those who knew him best, and it also came at the end of a long and difficult decline. Robin Williams' son Zach has shared details about his late father, opening up about the actor's mental health struggles. Zach said he saw frustration in his father when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and that was really irritating for him. What many people do not know is that depression was not the underlying cause of Robin's suicide. Rather, it was a little-known brain disease called Lewy body dementia, an aggressive and incurable brain disorder that has an associated risk of suicide. Robin Williams struggled with alcoholism and drug addiction early on in his career. He had struggled with depression and drug and alcohol addiction since the early 80s, and later on in his life, he would grapple with mental health issues and physical ailments. Starting in October 2013, Robin began to experience a series of physical ailments, varying in their severity and seemingly unconnected to one another. He had stomach cramps, indigestion, and constipation. He had trouble seeing. He had trouble urinating. He had trouble sleeping. The tremors in his left arm had returned, accompanied by the symptoms of cogwheel rigidity, where the limb would inexplicably stop itself at certain fixed points in its range of motion. His voice had diminished, his posture was stooped, and at times he simply seemed to freeze where he stood. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a degenerative disorder that attacks the central nervous system, impairing motor functions and cognition, eventually leading to death. To Robin, It was the realization of one of his most deeply felt and lifelong fears, to be told that he had an illness that would rob him of his faculties by small, imperceptible increments every day, that would hollow him out and leave behind a depleted husk of a human being. The actor was unaware he was dealing with Lewy body dementia. Williams reportedly appeared tired while on set and didn't seem to be his usual self before he died by suicide. The comedian was diagnosed with the neurological disorder posthumously after an autopsy was performed. Lewy body dementia is the second most common type of dementia to Alzheimer's. The disease affects brain regions involved in thinking, memory and movement, according to the Mayo Clinic. The telltale signs of Lewy body dementia in his brain were not discovered until an autopsy. Similar to Parkinson's and Alzheimer's diseases, LBD robs patients of their cognition and motor skills, but typically progresses more quickly, making basic problem solving and comprehension difficult. For those affected, as it turned out, Williams had been misdiagnosed with Parkinson's and had a different disease, which remains largely misunderstood to this day.